Well, that was our first taste of FBS football. Knew going over there and playing a good football team in a hostile environment with a large crowd, what we had to do to give ourselves an opportunity in that game was to play well early and try to take their crowd out of it. We didn't do that. We did just the opposite. We played into their hands. We gave them the ball and really got their crowd going, and then momentum took over. Great learning experience for us. Obviously, we didn't play well enough in the first half to compete. Very proud of our composure at halftime and how we came out and kept working. I thought we did, as units, improve as the game went on. I thought it was a great experience for us. Obviously, we got a lot of work to do, but I think we got a lot out of the game as far as what we need to work on, and we got a great evaluation on players. Last year, playing the game we played the first game, I don't know if I knew any more after the game than I knew going in. I think this year we got a lot out of that game, and we have a very mature coaching staff that's going to handle it right. We do have a number of things in the second half we can point to that when we do them well, we have an opportunity. But we know we got a lot of work to do, but we're going to come out of this thing positive, and we're going to come out of this thing working. We still have 11 games left. We only played 11 games last year, so we got lots of football left. Obviously, we have a lot to work on, but we're going to go work on it, and we're looking forward to this week playing at home and getting our training back on track. Well, offensively, I think early in the game, like I said, when you play on the road in that kind of environment, you want to go down and score early, but in the back of your mind, you also have to play well and not turn the ball over early. You don't ever want to turn the ball over, but I think it's very important when you play against a team with a big crowd is not do anything to ignite them. And so we have to come out with not really a conservative game plan, but a plan that, sometimes punting's not the end of the world. It beats the heck out of turning the ball over. So we're going to have to be a little smarter as a team. That being said, I don't think the turnovers early was from play calling. We just didn't execute, and we gave them the football. That kind of thing. Every team, you want to get off to a good start. You can't just say we're going to get off to a good start, then when you don't have a plan B. But we have to have more continuity offensively early in the game. The second half, even though we didn't score, we were getting decent field position. We were picking up 2 and 3 first downs, getting the ball to midfield or over, and then punting and making Louisiana-Lafayette try to drive the length of the field instead of giving the ball inside the 30 or inside the 20 or inside the whatever. I mean, that was a big difference in the second half, was just the fact that we made Louisiana-Lafayette's offense try to drive the length of the field most of the time. And the field position plays a big part in ball games. It was, and I was very proud of our defense early on. I know 3 times off the top of my head that we went out there after turnovers when they were already in field goal position. We held them to 3 and out, which is all you can do in that situation. They have an outstanding field goal kicker. You made all 3 of the field goals, but that was 9 points. It could have been 21 points. Defensively, I thought we gave ourselves a chance. We're much further ahead defensively than we are offensively. And then the second half, we came out, and even though they pulled their quarterback, they kept the rest of their offensive starters in there till late, about midway through the fourth quarter. And we did a very good job of defending them in the second half. And I think, and by both sides of the ball, but especially defensively, we got better as the game went on. And we're going to have that because it's obvious to me right now we got more returning players with experience playing together on the defensive side of the ball. We're working offensively. We're going to be a work in progress. We're not conceding anything, but we understand that for most of that unit, that was their first game of college to play together, and so they have some work to do, and we're going to go out and work. Oh, I think it was a good move. Other than the 2 bad snaps, I thought Ian played well. Again, that was his first college game to play the center position. He'll get better with experience. I thought that he did a good job. I think we'll stick with that for right now. Well, I do. I think that's what their crowd and what their players wanted. They wanted to run it up. I think that's one of the reasons that I'm not pointing the finger, but being the first game, you want to play your starters more because you got to get a lot out of that game. And they kept them in there for a while. And if we had given up, it would have been probably doubled that. Instead of 40, it'd been 80. So I thought our team did a very good job of coming out. Our defense did not turn on our offense. There was none of that at halftime. I didn't even have to deal with that. I didn't even have to address it. Our team, our body language and the way we approached the second half looked good to me. Now we got to go in halftime with a chance to win a football game. If we come out with that type of attitude, we will. But it was a growing experience. Learned a lot about this team. I think we're going to be around all year. I don't see any quitting this team. Well, just that. You know, you like to think you get to know players and you recruit them, and you like to think you get to know them in practice, but you really don't know till you throw them in that situation like that how they're going to handle adversity in a ball game. And it's tough sometimes. That was tough. That was tough on me. It's tough on our coaches. It's tough on our players. But you find out what people are made out of. I was very proud of that part of it. I was looking hard. You know, I'm not coaching the position now, so I have a little more time to look at the bench and look at what's going on. There was no helmet throwing. There was no finger pointing. There was no attitudes on the sideline. I saw a lot of want to. I saw what I've been seeing in practice every day. So if we can keep that attitude going, we're going to be fine. We should be disappointed. It's okay to see disappointment, but we didn't let it turn to anger. We didn't turn on one another. Like I said, this is the best team we've had as far as that goes, and that showed. I think that showed Saturday night, and that was the biggest positive I took out of that loss. We went over there as a team, we left as a team, and we stayed a team the whole time we were there. Well, I've been in places where that's happened before, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to do if you are not careful, and I think that goes to the maturity of our staff and the maturity of our team. I think we're further along in this thing. This is our third year, and part of football is like life. You've got to learn how to handle disappointment and handle adversity, and I thought we did that. Very athletic team. Offensively, they're going to spread the field, and they're going to throw it when they think you got a lot of guys on the line. They're going to run it when you back off. Their quarterbacks are very athletic. They run the ball very well. Put up a bunch of points this past week against Texas Southern. 41 points is normally enough points to win a game. Kind of had control of the game and kind of let it get away with it from them late. Defensively, almost the same thing. Very athletic and run around, fly around. They're coming off a very disappointing loss and kind of feel like, I'm not going to speak for them, but I'm sure they're thinking they kind of let one get away, and they see this as a great opportunity to come over here and get their first win. So, I mean, they're very impressive on film. Well coached, disciplined. They do a lot of the things right. We're going to have our hands full. Well, it's going to be important for our defense to keep the other team from scoring all year, but that's going to be part of it. We realize that. Right now our defense is ahead of our offense. We want our offense to come out and hang 100 on somebody, but until they do, every time we go out on the field, our job is to stop them. I think you'll see all three of our units improve this week. Speaking of the defense, not everything, because I don't want to take anything away from Louisiana-Lafayette. I thought they had a talented, well-coached offense, but a few of the plays they got, we gave them bust and just first game mistakes, and we're going to play a lot better defense than we played the other night. That's not the best we're going to play this year, but I'm very encouraged by what I saw defensively. It was like what I've been seeing so far in camp. I mean, we got a chance to be a very good defense this year. Oh, yes and no. Anytime I'm from, I don't know which coach told me that first. It probably goes back to high school, but I've almost heard it everywhere I've been for any coach that's been in coaching for any length of time that you make your most improvement between your first and second ball games. I think I've said that every year I've been here as well. So with that being said, this is a big game, and we're playing a good team. And if we don't improve, we won't win this game. And I think our players realize that. I think they understand what we did right Saturday night, what we have to improve on. They're going to look at Prairie View on film. They're going to be impressed with them just like I was. And they're going to know that we're going to have to come in here and put in a very good week of practice and play well if we're going to have a chance. And this is, again, a very good opponent that we're going to do everything we can to win this ball game. We want to win this game. But win, lose, or draw, this is another team that's going to help us get ready for conference play because we're in a tough conference. If we didn't learn anything last year, we certainly learned that we're in a tough league, and in order to play and get ready to play, you're going to have to play good people. So this will be a good game for us. Well, they will be in a non-conference because they are, like you said, they're an FCS school. They're picked to win their division. They're coming off a very good year. So yeah, I mean, this will be a good measuring stick for us. Well, they're mostly spread, and you got a number of spread teams. The first one comes to mind, Stephen F. Austin. They're not as much of a no-huddle, kind of a lightning attack as SFA, but they're mostly a spread team, and we've seen that before. Their quarterback runs around a little bit more and then does more with his feet before he throws the ball. But, I mean, they've got a good scheme, and their scheme matches their skill and their players. They've done a good job of matching up what they do with their athleticism and the talent that they got. They're 4-3, and they'll go back to 4-3 to nickel, 4-2-5, but you'll see most of the time, not all the time, most of the time you'll see 4 guys with their hands on the ground, and they'll have a cover 2 shell, but they don't stay in it. They'll blitz when they need to and move around, but a lot of what you see against spread teams is that type of look, and they're very similar to a lot of teams we see in the Southland, and they kind of look like a Southland team. They would be good in this league because they're good in that league, and the SWAC's a good league. I was more pleased with the times we kept him in the pocket and didn't give him that extra time because the guy's really good at moving around and ad-libbing. I think we focused more on trying to keep him in the pocket. We didn't go after him with just all wholesale blitzes as much. I thought for the most part we contained him pretty good. Yeah, we want more sacks, we want more hits on the quarterback, we want more turnovers, but I think as the game went on, we got, first of all, it took us a little while to figure out on the field that he was left-handed and he wanted to go that way more than he wanted to go that way. But as the game went on, those guys, and you talk about now, Blake Chavis and Marcus Malbrough has played with their hand on the ground their whole life. This is the first real game for them to play up. And that was a little, even though you've practiced them, there's nothing like a game. And they got better as the game went on. And we did a better job of containing as the game went on. And and we got a lot of more improvement to do. But I was pleased as how, like you said, I would like to have had more sacks. But, we got pressure. We made him throw the ball on time. We kept him in the pocket a lot of time. And that's what you want to do on a running quarterback is make him throw the ball on time. We're holding the ball too long on the throws. We're holding the ball too long, and we got to understand that throwing the ball away is not a bad play sometimes. It took Andre and some of the guys in the past a little time to learn that. We got to tuck it and take off. For the most part, the protection was better than I think maybe some people think it was because we held the ball too long. And we were playing a very good defensive front. I don't want to take anything away from them. But I thought overall our protection held up for the most part. And when it doesn't, we got to throw the ball away or get out of there. And when you're not hitting the quarterbacks and putting them on the ground at practice and you tell a guy he's holding the ball too long, even though we have the clock on him and the clock's going off, quarterback sitting back there holding the ball and the clock going off, he doesn't get near the impression than when he holds it too long and he ends up on the ground. So he learned the hard way. You got to get rid of the football. And I thought they got better as the game went along with that as well. We didn't have near the knockdowns and sacks on our quarterbacks in the second half than we did in the first. We'll see. We'll see. I wanted to do that going into this game regardless if we were ahead or behind. I didn't want to tell y'all because y'all tried to turn it into a quarterback controversy. I didn't really mean it that way. I really felt going into camp that Ryan was a clear-cut number 1 and Caleb was going to be number 2. Like I said before, Caleb came in and really made a case for himself, and I think anybody that watched our game the other night sees the mobility that Caleb has, and he can freelance and do some things with his feet, and he brought that to it, and I saw it all during camp, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to play, and we'll continue to do that, not only at the quarterback position, we will do that at every position in these non-conference games because that's what they're for. And until one of them just head and shoulders puts the other one on the bench, you'll probably still see 2 quarterbacks play. I don't know. I mean, we may get to where we make him prepare for 2 quarterbacks, and if Caleb continues to want to run that much, we may run him a little bit more. We'll just have to see how we go. Oh, no, I'm not saying Ryan can't move. Caleb just moves a little bit better, and Caleb just does a little bit more with his feet. They both are got about the same grasp of the offense. Ryan's probably ahead of him in maturity just because he's played more snaps of college ball. Caleb has watched for 2 years, and then he played second half a little bit against Mike Neese. This is really the most playing time he's gotten since high school, and I thought he got better as the game went on when he got to play. And like I said the other night, we decided at halftime to let them both have a quarter. Just the start of the fourth quarter, Ryan was moving the team, and I didn't want to pull him in the middle of a series, so we let him finish that series. But they both did some good things, and they both have a lot of things to work on. I don't know. We're not going to tell Prairie View on Monday what we're going to do on Saturday. We're not going to talk about injuries neither before you bring that up. Well, they kicked away from him. They were kicking it deep in the end zone. And that was another thing. We know the ball comes out to the 25. When we told our players the ball comes out to the 25, and we worked on the ball coming out to the 25. But you know, Nashon took it 3 yards deep and got out to the 12 and got tackled, and I had to put my arm around him and say, you see where that 25 is way up there? That's a 28-yard return just to get it to where you could have just knelt on the ground. And we're learning that the hard way. That's the first game, but I don't know why. It's just 5 yards. He just looked at me like the 25 was much further out, and I had no problem taking over on the 25. So if they're going to kick it away from somebody or kick it in the end zone, and we learned how to do that as the game went on, we're going to have to take more knees, and the other guy that's back there with our return man is going to have to keep him in the end zone because they get their adrenaline pumping and they want to take it to the house, and I understand that. But a lot of times starting out on the 25 is not a bad thing, as opposed to the 12 or the 10. There won't be major lineup changes. I'll just say this: we come out relatively healthy. I don't see us having to make changes for injury issues. So we'll still roll a lot of players. I think y'all saw a lot of players play on both sides, and we'll continue to do that. But I don't see any major changes for this game other than we won't play better. I certainly hope so. That's one of the things I saw over there was a bunch of crazy people wearing red making a lot of noise, and I said, that needs to be us next week at our place. And they got a great home crowd, and we'd like to think we do too. And that's what we need Saturday. We need everybody to get up and get out, and let's pack this thing and make a lot of noise and maybe kind of do to Prairie View what ULL did to us. Let's get behind our team and let's be loud and let's be obnoxious and let's come early and stay late and let's have a party. That happened over at LaBerge Casino when they announced the all-conference first and second team, and we did not have a player on it. And I said, well, if that's the way it's going to be, then we're going to take this and run with it. We're just going to be a bunch of no-names. Nobody thinks we got anybody who can play, so we're just going to do it as a team, and we're going to talk about team, and I'm not going to talk about a lot of individuals. Now, that being said, I understand we got individuals that can play, but it's not something that we harp on or try to make a big deal out of, but I thought it was a good idea. Players liked it, and it was a little less individualism, a little more team by taking the names off the back. And we may put them back on there at some point. We may put them back on this year, but for right now, I thought it was a good idea. They look like this a lot of times. You talk a lot of young guys. Van is the only senior out there. A lot of guys, that was their first college game, and that unit with our quarterbacks, that was their first game to play together. Again, we got better as it went on. We started catching balls and running the right routes and blocking who we needed to block, and we didn't have a lot of illegal procedure penalties. We lined up for the most part, but again, kind of knew going in the season. I think everybody did, losing the 4 senior receivers that we had last year, and they were all good players. That was the biggest position we had to replace, and they'll get better. This is a unit that's going to be around together for a while, and they'll get better as the season goes on. I think we started 3 seniors the other night on offense. 1 on the offensive line, 1 at receiver, and Jordan Garrett at tailback, I think, was the only 3 seniors we started. So you got a lot of young guys out there that was their first college game to play together, and they'll get better. And that we should see improvement all year long. That's what we're planning on. Yeah, Barry's been here the longest. He's the receiver other than Van that's played the most. Barry rotated in a lot last year. He's got probably more catches coming back than any other player, and it's his time. He's been here 3 years now. It's his time to step up, and I was pleased with Barry's progress, and he'll continue to improve as the season goes on. I think he can be dynamic anytime he gets his hands on the ball, whether you're handing it to him or throwing it to him or kicks and punts, and we got a number of players like that, and we're going to try to utilize them. So, yeah, he's the type of guy that we're going to figure different ways to get him the football. Like he may end up throwing one before it's over with, But any way we can get him the ball, he's just not the only guy. But we think we do have 4 running backs that can all play. The guy that's not in there taking the next series is probably going to help us in the return games. And they're talented and good enough to do it. We didn't throw Darrell Harris out there or Desmond Richards. Both those guys can do it as well. So we got some depth there, and we're going to use it. Repeat myself. I don't know if this maybe would get on there the first time, but let's get it on there the second time. We need everybody in the triangle to get out here Saturday. We need a big crowd, and it's like church. Quit making up reasons not to go and find some reasons to go. We need you here. And this is a big game for our program and for our team. And let's just see how many people we can get out here this Saturday.